Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
It's the beginning of next 90 days.
It is. It's the first day of the rest of your life. And
Can we address the elephant in the room?
which one? Oh, yeah, the haircut I gave you.
You gave me the greatest haircut, maybe of our time.
Thank you.
I'm also
I
not
turned
wearing
you
my
into
glasses.
I turned you into a European soccer player.
I could go play soccer on Real Madrid by lunch.
That actually made me cough because it was so insane.
Don't cough.
Happy Monday to you guys.
Happy Monday.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It's gonna be like a lightning storm today in Texas, which is a bummer. Anyone else have your kids at home with you in quarantine? And so then
Everyone.
Yeah, and so then you're like, oh, well, if it rains, we're in a lot of trouble.
If it rains,
Because you can't go
it
outside.
rains.
If it rains, it rains. I got your joke.
Rocky Four.
Rocky Four.
Rocky
If
Four.
he dies,
If he dies,
I got it.
he dies.
I got you. Okay, guys. This morning we launched our next 90 days challenge, and it is a smidge, just a smidge, more complicated to sign up than it normally is because there's a whole learning portal with all sorts of resources. So go watch Dave's stories if you want to, like if you didn't get access to your next 90 day starter kit and the first class today, then go watch Dave's stories and he gives you a step-by-step, and we're going to put step-by-step out and we're going to send you emails.
In 30 seconds, let me just explain.
Okay.
There is a learning portal because there are free courses that come with this challenge.
Yep.
Rachel did a 42-minute, 42-second class on perspective. And you have to have a login for a learning portal in order to access the course, the workbook, the screensaver, the workout with Rachel and Chris, all of the things.
Yeah, if you signed up but didn't actually get like an email and sign up for your learning portal, then you're not really signed up. You signed up for a waiting list.
Yes.
So we'll send you another email to make sure, but we just want to make sure that you got it. The reason we're doing it in a portal is because every time we do one of these challenges, so many people want to join after we start, but we don't have a way to give them resources to the old stuff because it was always an email or it was here on live. So now with the portal, you can access the information at any time. You guys can go back and rewatch things. And if you want to invite your sister or your aunt or your mom or your husband or whatever, they can go back and watch all of the courses at any point.
The learning portal lives on thehollisco.com. So let me just say this. It is going to be a little more confusing for like the first 2 days, and then the kind of value you will feel like you are getting from it will make any confusion wildly worth it. So if you can bear with just a tiny bit of confusion, I promise you, once you figure out how to use your login on thehollisco.com, you go into it, then there is a portal where every single week new courses will be for free added to your portal so that at any time, right, 10 weeks from now, if you need to have a refresher reminder on perspective, which is this week's course, you'll have access to that course for the entire 13 weeks. Frankly, you'll have access to it forever. So trust me, it's going to take just a little more work to get your login and land in the learning portal on the Hollisco page.
Yeah.
But once you're there, it's going to be worth it.
Melissa just said it's just like coaching. You are exactly right. If you're one of our coaching students and you've been in a learning portal with us before, and hopefully this didn't confuse you, but if it's your first time, you can go on to thehollisco.com/next 90 days. Now when you hit that button, it's going to take you right to the place you need to be. If you got an email today from us, then you want to follow the sign up information there. But there's just a bunch of juicy free content, and if we're going to work this hard to create it for you, we just want to make sure you can access it.
Yeah, listen, don't wait for an email. If you are listening to this and you have not yet gone into the into the portal, just when this live is done, go to thehollisco.com/next90 and you put your name, you put in an email, you put in a password, and you'll use that email and password to log into the portal between now and the end of time, and you'll have every single thing that you could need for the next 13 weeks.
So this week we are talking about perspective, and like Dave said, I taught a 40-minute course.
42 minutes and 42 seconds.
On what perspective is, why it matters right now so much, and what you can do to change your perspective. But I think sort of the top line thing that we really want you to get this week is the idea that you are in control. Like, our perspective is how we view the world around us. And so much of the way that we look at the world around us is built through the lens of your past. Things that have happened in your past that are affecting the way that you view your present. And most of the time we're not conscious of it. And so we just sort of allow things to be true for us. For example, there are people who are reacting to the current crisis by freaking out, way more fear, way more anxiety than their current reality calls for. But past experiences have told them that when bad things happen, the whole world's going to fall apart, right? Like maybe this is you. Maybe you have walked through something before in your life where because something about this situation is triggering, you right now are, like I have members of my family who are way overreacting. Now, I'm not saying that what's happening in the world isn't scary, but you have to ask yourself, is anything currently personally happening to me?
Yeah.
Because I have people in my family, nothing different is happening to them other than the fact that they shouldn't go out of the house. But they're reacting as if everyone they know has the virus and it's way worse than it is. And so this week we're talking about the idea of you being in control of what your mind is telling you is true. And that's all perspective.
Well, and I will say, I woke up this morning thinking, what is the thing about perspective for me that I've had to stay anchored to more than anything? And it is, at the beginning of this year, I declared with 100% certainty that this year was going to be the greatest year of my life. 2020 was going to be my year, that my best year was saved until I was 45 years old. And when situations like this are thrown our way, we can tend to allow ourselves to have our narrative stolen by the circumstances that are beyond our control. And yet that is a choice, because I am as certain on March 30th today that 2020 is going to be my best year, not in spite of, but because of the way that I was never ever the one who could fully appreciate the kind of plan that 2020 would unfold. And it's because of everything that we are going to go through that 2020 is going to be my best year. Not because of the way I thought my book might launch, or the way that my tour was going to work, or the way that we might do a USO tour, or the way that we were going to have live events happen at certain points, but because of how much better they'll be when they actually happen. Because of what this time is affording us to work on the app and write the next book and do all of the things that we are doing. And so you have to decide right now, do the circumstances that are beyond your control change the way that you thought about the way this year was going to be for you? That this was going to be your best year? This is going to be my best year. I just didn't appreciate that this best year was going to require getting through something as crazy as what we are currently walking through.
Someone just said, yeah, but it's different in New York than it is in Texas. You're absolutely right. And it's different in Italy than it is in New York. And it's different in China than it is in Italy. Number one, what's happening in New York will spread west.
Yeah.
Like it will go through this entire country. Nobody is going to escape the ramifications of what's happening right now. This is not a contest. Number two, you get to decide. You get to decide that you can't control what's going on outside of yourself. You can't control what's going on outside of the four walls of your house. You can't control what's going on outside of this, but you can control the way that you respond to it. That is the definition of perspective. And believe me that there are people who will not sign up for this because they don't want to reach for joy right now. Because it's too hard. And I'm not even blaming you. The idea of like the world is freaking out around me and people are sick and people are dying and these fools over in Texas want us to reach for joy. I understand that probably pisses some people off because they don't get it. But the thing is, we will have to go through this situation either way.
Yeah.
Either way, we're going to have to walk through this season. Either way. So you get to decide that you can walk through this season with courage and reaching for joy and choosing your mindset, or you can walk through this season from a place of fear and a place of trying to control the things that you can't control, and a place of, well, we have it worse than you, or you don't understand. No, you're right. I don't understand your life. But I do understand that your life will be made better if you fight for your ability to control the way you think of what's going on around you. I am positive that there is stuff right now, people who are watching this have things that they are absolutely, truly afraid of because of real life circumstances. But even in the midst of real life pain and real life hardship, there is still joy. There are still things to be grateful for. There are still blessings, even if you look for it. And if you don't, well, you'll find that too.
Yeah. Why are we doing next 90 days? Why are we doing this right now? We are doing this because we are going to go through things that we cannot possibly hold as a community in the next 13 weeks. We are at the beginning of something that is going to challenge what we all believe we are capable of getting through. And some people are already in it. The people who are in Italy, the people who are in New York, they are already in what we are walking toward. And the reason why we're doing this together is because we will only survive if we can continue to encourage and remind each other to reach for joy on the days where it feels impossible to reach for joy. That does not minimize what any single person is going through. It is an attempt to honor the humanity of the struggle that we are universally in and encourage each other to keep fighting even as, and it's guaranteed, even when it becomes hard. It is going to be hard in the next 13 weeks. It's why we're doing this together. But you can choose to lie down and let the fear and let the circumstance that we did not choose indict us as having to now just wait until it's gone, or we can build a different kind of muscle set. We can grow through this thing.
I would say I want to adjust the word that you use because words have power.
Yeah.
So you said we can choose how we survive this. Here's the thing, and anyone who's ever walked through trauma or crisis knows this is true. You're gonna survive this. You're going to survive this. Chances are you are going to survive this season. But the question is not whether you will survive. The question is, what kind of person are you gonna come out the other side of this? What kind of person will you be 3 months from now or 4 months from now based on what has happened? Because if you've ever walked through crisis, then you know one of the hardest parts is that you do survive. Yeah. That you survive it and you have to feel every second of that pain and every second of that fear. And we are speaking from the perspective of having walked through hardship. And of course, we have not walked through this specific kind of hardship before. Nobody has. What we are challenging though is let's do our best. Let's do the best we can with what we've got. And what we've got is the knowledge and the tools from having walked through hard things before, and the absolute complete truth that if you anchor yourself to daily habits, if you center yourself every single day, then you get to keep coming back to that place. Yeah. Every time you feel unrooted, every time you feel fearful, you get to keep coming back. So the next 90-day challenge, same as last 90-day challenge, is anchored to these 5 things that you do every single day. Every single day for 90 days, we are challenging you to, 1, get up an hour earlier than you have been and use that time for yourself. Use it for prayer or meditation or to get a workout in or to do your gratitude work. Use that time for yourself. Use that time to center yourself and be intentional about who you're going to be today.
By the way, real quick, just because centeredness during this season is more important than ever.
Yeah.
People will say, oh, I don't know if I can get up earlier. What I am positive of is if you are not indulging in, prioritizing self-care, if you are not pouring into yourself, you will not be as strong as you need to be 3 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, 13 weeks from now, as we are working through this for the people that you love. We are in quarantine with humans all day long. Getting an hour for yourself to center yourself is critical.
Absolutely. Second thing is drink water. I know that seems like the simplest thing in the world. We challenge you to drink half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Water is easily accessible, should just come right out of your faucet, assuming that the water coming out of your faucet is healthy. It's an easy thing to add. The hydration is great for you. And I always think that when I'm challenging myself, it's easier to add a new thing than it is to take something away. So the second thing is water. The third thing is a daily gratitude practice. Every single morning, finding at least 5 things that you can be grateful for that happened within the last 24 hours. The fourth thing is to move your body for at least 30 minutes every single day. Do what you can with what you've got where you're at. Go for a walk with the dog, go play with the kids in the backyard, do push-ups. Dave and I have been doing, you've been doing a lot more than me.
I've done a lot of push-ups.
Every single hour on the hour doing 10 push-ups. I've got, a little tracker on my wrist just so I can be mindful of my steps right now. Movement. A workout will lower the stress hormones. It'll lower the cortisol in your body, which makes you feel more capable of handling what's going on in the world around you. What else did I miss? And then give up one category of food you should not be eating. One category
or drink.
Of food, or drink. So alcohol, junk food, fried food. For me, this is going to sound like this weirdest thing ever. So I break my 90-day challenge into 3, so for the food category, so I do a different one each month. And to start with, I am giving up tortillas. I know that seems, you're like, what?
Tortillas are a staple.
I eat tortilla chips like all day long. This sounds like the dumbest thing in the world, but it is a coping mechanism for me. And I go in, because we have like a stockpile of tortilla chips, and when I'm feeling stressed, I go and I just eat all the chips. And I know that seems so dumb, but I also know that I am coping in a way that's unhealthy for me. So I was like, okay, tortillas. And did I eat half a bag yesterday in preparation for starting today?
It was a good buy eat.
I did.
It was a good buy.
So we know people who are giving up alcohol. We know people who are giving up bread. Usually people will reach for the thing that they know that they're coping with in an unhealthy way.
If you're giving up alcohol, I'll be not drinking with you
Yep.
for this 90 days,
Yep.
30 days, 60 days, whatever your time period is. You need a buddy. I'll be your buddy of not drinking. Come on.
Yeah. So in any event, those are the 5 things, theholliscode.com/next90. There's all sorts of great free resources for you there. But
by the way, the giving up, just so that we're clear, part of it is to show that you can keep a promise to yourself, because one of the things that you want to try and come out of this 13 weeks, out of this 90 days with, is a belief in your ability to create habits that last.
Yes.
And we are creating habits in the midst of crazy headwinds. We are creating habits in the midst of intense pressure. But training at altitude, right? We are training at high altitude is going to allow us to thrive when we return to sea level. And getting habits as a thing that we can commit to in the middle of just impossible circumstances will make keeping habits when things become less impossible way so much easier.
If you are someone just said, hey, I eat super clean, then that's a question for you. Maybe it's not a food for you. Maybe it's an alcohol for you, or maybe it's something
Social
else
media
in your life that you know is unhealthy for you that you need to challenge yourself to give up for 30 days. Kind of think of it as like a Lent idea of like going without, at least for me, makes me more present, makes me have to slow down and think about what I'm eating, makes me think about how I'm coping, all the things. So those are the 5 things, theholliscode.com/next90. It's in both of the links in our bios. It's all over any of our social. You should be able to really access.
In case anyone joined late, I just want to reiterate real quick. There was not an email welcoming you to the challenge, but there is a learning portal where you need to have a login in order to get access to the 45 minutes of teaching that Rachel is doing on perspective today. So if you go to theholliscode.com/next90 or hit the link in either of our bios or watch my stories, you go in there, you hit the sign up button, you put your name, an email, and a login. And when you do that, you will all of a sudden be inside of a learning portal where you can see the course. You can see a warm-up course that Rachel and Chris Chandler put together. And there's a little button that has a little 3 next to it. If you tap that little button once you're in the portal, you can see screensaver.
Just go watch Dave's stories.
Watch my stories.
He goes through the whole thing.
The
and we'll make
whole
a
thing.
video. The thing is, guys, we rushed this so fast.
Yeah.
Our team literally spent the last 9 days straight getting all of this set up for you. So we'll continue to tweak it and make it better as it goes on and make sure that it's easier to use and get you all the information. But today, if you want the access, go watch Dave's stories. He walks you through the entire thing.
That's right.
Love seeing what everybody is giving up. And I think this one is especially powerful because many of us are using food as a coping mechanism because we're stressed about what's going on in the world around us. And I know that we are human. I'm not asking you to not be human, but just one thing. One thing. It's just one thing to prove to yourself that you don't actually need it. It's a great time to give up something that you know doesn't make you feel great, but you keep eating it anyway. So just you decide, but all the information's over on the website, and we're so excited that you're doing it with us. Today is the first day of the next 90. This week we were talking about perspective all week long, all the juicy details.
Yeah, so if you did not see, we're going to try and create programming every single week. So just to give you a little heads up of what this week has in store, tomorrow there is a great conversation with David Bach about perspective on finances.
Yeah.
That will be
Specifically
happening.
if you have financial anxiety about what's happening right now in the season, and most of us do, tomorrow's podcast episode is about financial anxiety and things that you can do to make yourself feel secure.
Wednesday morning, we're going to have Trent Shelton right here on this
live on stories.
darn morning show talking about perspective. Thursday, Catherine Schwarzenegger Pratt is going to be a guest here on the morning show and is also the guest on the Rise Together podcast to talk about perspective through the lens of forgiveness. A very, very interesting conversation around her New York Times bestselling book around forgiveness. And then on Friday, we have extended the invitation to Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, The Rock, and Beyonce.
We'll see who shows.
We're waiting to see who answers first.
Shows.
I'm not sure.
If
they don't show up, we're going to have a dance party and lip syncing battle right here.
Actually, on Friday, our first family vlog comes out.
Oh.
So we decided to do a family vlog of our family during quarantine because there's just all sorts of shenanigans going on. So that will be on Friday on my YouTube channel. All sorts of content, you guys, coming at you this week. Make sure you check the blog, MissRachelHollis.com. Make sure you're listening to podcasts. We are just trying to give you a ton of free resources that hopefully, if you need a distraction, you can distract yourself with positive things and joyful things instead of the news, because the news is, frankly, terrifying.
Fire.
Yeah. All right.
Yo!
I got a 9:30 call, so
Day
I gotta
one.
go. Have a fantastic day. It's your first day, guys. 5 things. We're challenging you. 5 things to do them today. If you are doing the challenge, I would love to ask you to please tell your friends, tell your family, get your partner involved.
Yep.
We're doing this completely for free. Our only ask is that if you find it helpful, you tell people in your community so we can get as many ripple effects from this idea out in the world as we possibly can. All right. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.